Hello everyone, in the last video we talked about LangChain plus AWS Bedrock intro and we have seen that simple chat application with the help of LangChain plus AWS Bedrock. Okay, now in this video we are going to cover a little bit more about prompt template. So there is always a buzzword about prompt template, etc. So we will bust it out here in this video and we'll understand the basic concepts of prompt template. And obviously in single video not everything can be covered, because within the prompt template we also have chat template, LLM template, etc., and also output parser as well. So we'll cover up slowly in upcoming series videos. Okay, so let's compare this simple chat. Let's see this simple chat first and then we'll talk why this prompt template is needed. Okay, now in this particular chat application that we build, okay, the human message is hard coded, right? So what if the actual application, the production application in the production does not work like this, right? So you do not hard code the stuff that the user wants, right? User interact with your GenAI application, right? Give some input, the GenAI application listen to it and then talk to the LLM for further processing, correct? So in this case this was hard coded in the earlier video, correct? So how we can make this dynamic? How we can say that, okay, this particular message can be inserted or can be provided by the user. So in order to do that, prompt templates shines. Okay, so where we can say that instead of this message hard coded, we can convert it into a placeholder. Okay, and then take that message from the input from the user and then make use of the prompt template to replace that particular placeholder with the incoming message. Okay, so let's compare this entire example with prompt template example. Okay, we are going to cover the chaining as well with the output parser. So first I will talk about the prompt template. So this particular code is written for having the prompt template. Okay, now if you look into this example, just don't look into the entire code. If you like, don't be panic about what I have written over here, which is like larger than this simple chat. Just look into this message box. Okay, in this message box this become a placeholder. Okay, and this placeholder is supplied by this particular message here. Okay, and this particular information we can get it from the input, basically Python input block, or via REST API we can get this from the UI. Okay, so how it works, basically we put a placeholder and then we can make use of it. Okay, now let me detail out in the sequence diagram first and to explain this program in detail. Okay, so first open the sequence diagram. Let's understand the sequence diagram, what is happening here in this example. Okay, the user is again here, user is providing the input message that we talked about and which our GenAI application have listened. So these components you can think of it, this one LangChain, prompt template, this everything you can think of it as a backend of your GenAI application. So it gets the message from the REST API or directly via console, etc. And then we are basically creating a prompt structure, prompt template. We are making use of the prompt template class or a variant of this class from the LangChain module and initializing this class, okay, with a system instruction and a human message with the placeholder. After initializing it, we are simply making use of it to initialize the chat bedrock converse model. Okay, and once we initialize this chat bedrock model, it automatically establishes the connection with AWS Bedrock as we talked about it in the last video. And finally, after that, we are going to invoke that particular model, basically dot invoke method. We are calling it with the formatted with the user input. Okay, now in this case, we are using the second step. We are using the user input to basically replace that placeholder with the actual message and then finally send it to the AWS Bedrock. Make sure that AWS Bedrock has a model enabled into your AWS console. You can go and check out the earlier video as well. So once it is configured correctly, then we'll get the response. So, and ultimately we are sending it back to the user. Obviously, whatever the response coming from the LLM, we might not be directly sending it back to the user. We might be massaging it. We might be converting it to a different format, etc. So here in our example, we are currently using the output parser. So it parses the response coming from the LLM and then we are simply printing it into the console. But in the real world, it actually a response of a REST API call which goes to the UI. Okay, and this is what we are building it up in this small application. Okay, let's go back to the VS Code and understand what we written. Okay, so again we are getting the chat bedrock converse from the LangChain underscore AWS package, which is integration package which is used to interact with AWS Bedrock. And then we are taking up the prompt, basically the prompt class, chat prompt template. since we are chatting it up, basically we are chatting with the AWS Bedrock via model, which is by to and from messages is basically chat. If we say that plain text, which is a single response, here in this case it is a chat, so that's why it is chat prompt template. Otherwise it also has the prompt template class as well. Okay, so we are making use of it to initialize the messages. The same thing, we in the simple chat we are simply using the messages, which is a plain messages, right? But here we simply pass this particular block into a method from messages method of this chat prompt template, and then we are using the chaining concept in the LangChain. Basically what LangChain says that you can create a chain of functions, you can chain it with the help of pipe operator, okay, and then make use of it. Ultimately what is happening, we need a prompt, we need a model, like which model we want to interact, and we need to parse the output coming from the LLM. Okay, so we can chain it together. So we are chaining it: prompt, pipe, model, pipe, string output parser. We have different type of output parser, like pydentic parser. We also have different type of parser we have, so we will cover it up in the next video. But here we are taking the string output parser. It simply takes up the message from the content attribute and presenting it to us. So we are simply chaining it, and after chaining it, this name you can give anything, right? Prompt, these are variable names only, so you can give any name here, and after that you are simply calling it with the invoke method. Okay, here also we were using the invoke method only, but we are directly invoking it on the model. Okay, now in this case we are invoking it on the chain. Okay, chain is like series of things taken, like it's like a workflow basically, and it takes care of everything. And then we are passing in the actual message, what you suggest for mild fever, and then it is printing the message. Here what is the difference in response printing? Here what we are doing, response.content, but in case of chain, in case of this prompt template, in case of output parser, basically primarily we do not have to like use the content attribute. We're simply printing it because it is taking care of it automatically. Okay, so basis on the use case, we will cover up this output parser in detail in upcoming video. So here we have understood why the prompt template, what how we can replace this message, right? And this is slowly we are moving towards the actual GenAI application. Once we build it up, obviously if you want to productionize it, we have different approach, like we can make use of Fargate or fast API, etc., to expose it, everything. So we'll cover up slowly. Let's be patient and understand the concept of prompt template. So we are ready with this program, so let us run this program. For running this program, again I've talked about this earlier, uv run simple chat. Similarly, for running this program, uv run command and then chat chain prompt string parser.py and hit enter. Okay, so let's see how it works, like it run. So again, similar kind of response that we have earlier. The difference is here that now it is more dynamic, it is not hard coded, and we made use of the prompt template, and it's similar to how we make use of the string formatter or f strings or whatever formatter we normally been using earlier, but it's little more magic is going on, and it's more relevant to the use case with the LLMs, so it is more strong. And yes, I recommend that we should use it for getting the correct or our expected outcome. Okay, so I hope you understand the concept of chaining in LangChain plus prompt template in LangChain plus output parser in LangChain. So we will cover up slowly more detail in upcoming videos. So stay tuned with me, with us, to more such videos. And yeah, till then, happy coding. Bye.